Yeah, welcome to this video. In this video I'll present to you a game that I recently saw and really left me stunned because it's one of the most spectacular games I've seen in recent months or years. I don't know. I was really amazed what's possible. This is a game played just recently, about 2 weeks ago, in the ECP, it is called, tournament. I think it was in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. They tried something interesting there. They played according to the time control rules of the 80s, 2.5 hours for 40 moves, so much more than it's usual today. And they also even had adjourned games. For the younger audience, this means that they actually stopped playing after 40 moves and resumed playing only a day or so afterwards. So you can actually look at the game after 40 moves using the help of friends or nowadays your computer. It was a very interesting fighting tournament. At the end, won by Vasily Ivanchuk with a very fine performance. But the game I'm going to show you is between Anna Muzychuk playing white and Emil Sutovsky playing black. A few words about the players. Ladies first. Anna Muzychuk is currently the number 2 ranked female player, directly behind Judith Polgar, who's got the top spot for like 20 years now. But Muzychuk by now is on place 2, even ahead of women world champion Hu Yifan. So she's a very promising female player, rated 2,606, so above the 2,600 barrier. She's playing for Slovenia, but is originally from the Ukraine. She's also got a very strong playing younger sister, I think. Emil Sutovsky is one of the top players of Israel. He's rated slightly below 2,700, and he's known for his absolutely spectacular style of playing. He's really one of the sharpest players around. He's not the kind of guy who plays for a draw at any stage, so always interesting to watch his games. Sometimes it's a bit too much for his own good, but it makes for good watching, of course. So let's see what happens in this game. So Anna Muzychuk opens e4 and Sutovsky plays the Caro-Kann. Nowadays this is not considered to be the kind of rock-solid opening of the days of Karpov or any other player in the 17s. The Caro-Kann is a good fighting weapon, mostly because white players mostly go for the advanced variation, just like in this game. Because the main lines don't promise white so much, so the old main line, so to say, nowadays you can consider the advanced variation the main line. So bishop f, oops, no, that was too quick. Bishop f5. And here white of course has a huge range of moves that that can be played. The most common move nowadays is I need to do this another way here, is shorts variation with knight f3, but all kinds of other moves are possible. Also knight c3, bishop e3, all kinds of moves. In this game h4 was played, which is also an interesting alternative. And now black has got mostly two moves. He played h6 here, which is maybe the sharper move even. The alternative is this h5, just stopping this g4 idea in its tracks. After that, white most often plays with c4, leading to quite a complex position. This line has been played numerous times by Peter Swidler, for instance, h4 line. But Sutovsky played h6, and after g4, played bishop e4. Bishop e4 is again the sharper move. Black also can play bishop d7, just dropping the piece back. And this very often leads to very original positions. A normal kind of continuation would be like this. And it's quite funny, white is just playing pawn moves. The first eight moves, he doesn't have a piece developed. But this is playable. White has got a nice space advantage here on the king side. Of course, the lack of development is worrisome, so it's not like huge advantage for white, but it's playable. Also, in this position, there's the move knight to d2. In this position, which has been played in the final game of the 2004 World Championship match between Kramnik and Leko, and so Kramnik played this line when he needed a win desperately. But okay, let's return to the game. Sutovsky played bishop e4, attacking the rook, so white doesn't have much choice, plays f3, and black drops back. So what is the whole point of white's setup? It's this move, e6. The idea is if black now takes on e6, then after bishop d3, this whole kingside formation is very problematic for black, mostly because he's got this awful bishop on f8, which probably will never see a huge future in this game. It can happen that this piece will never move because these pawns just block the normal way of development, and g6 is also not a move you want to play. So this is a huge advantage for white. It's almost not playable for black. This is why he played queen to d6. So threatening to take this with the queen. So white needs to capture on f7, and he recaptures with the king. Yeah, already in a quite original position. Here, the old move, which has been played in the 70s and 80s, when this position came up, it's not like a huge main line. White played very often this kind of stuff, knight e2, with the intention of playing bishop f4, and then black played e5. Something like this here. And black, I think, has quite a nice game. He needs to be a bit cautious with his king, but white's pieces are really far away from posing any immediate threats, and black might even get something on the e-file. Those white pawn moves, they gain space, but they also weaken a lot. So black should be fine here. This is why in this game f4 was played. Of course, this looks a bit weird. White is only making pawn moves, and all in all, this game is a kind of don't try this at home affair. It's spectacular to watch, but I guarantee you that if you try to play yourself in this fashion, it will get very tough. Okay, white's playing f4, and of course the simple idea is to just block e5. White just wants to prevent e5 from being played, and of course it has got other issues. It weakens the e4 square quite a lot, so any kind of piece might invade on e4, and of course you're still not doing anything for your development. Black develops a piece, knight f6, and this is answered by another original move, bishop h3, covering the g4 pawn and preparing g5. The issue was you cannot really play g5 immediately. Of course, once in a while you also should develop stuff, but g5 at the moment has got the problem. If you take here, recapture, then there's bishop c2, and well, the rook here is hanging. This is why white played bishop h3. So bishop h3, and now black has got more than one interesting move. He played c5, attacking the center. Certainly a logical decision, also allowing for the knight to come to c6 with an active post on c6. d7 would be rather passive. c6 really is a much better square. So what should white do now? There are a couple of alternatives. I mean, a couple is maybe too much. It's more like 2 or 3 moves. She played the most aggressive move, g5, directly attacking the knight. An alternative I can show briefly is the knight f3, which also wasn't too bad. Knight c6, and now a funny line is g5, attacking the knight. Takes here, and now black has a quite nice shot. He can take on c2. Not much choice, you need to recapture, and then rook takes h3. So some nice nice tactics already happening. A possible continuation is rook takes, queen e6 check, knight e5, takes, and takes the rook, e takes f, and well, what's this? Very very difficult to assess position. A possible continuation I can show. I mean, this is not completely forced with this possible idea. Of course the queen covers, but it can be an idea. White also wants to take control of the a8 square. So this is why black plays this move with this idea. And this whole situation is entirely unclear. Could invest lots of time to analyze this. Black's got 2 pawns for the piece, but a huge attack. White still hasn't got his or her pieces. Yeah, I need to be cautious in this commentary that I don't say his pieces. Her pieces are still sleeping on the queen side, so this line is maybe problematic for white. It's of course difficult to play. So this was the alternative in this position, to play knight f3, but she played the most direct move, g5. Yeah, black captured on g5, therefore opening the h-file. This is of course a very a decision you shouldn't take lightly. It's a very tactical position, but I think it's better to do this instead of immediately playing knight e4. After knight e4, immediately white has got some additional options. One sample line is knight f3, knight c6, and then the direct knight e5 check. The problem is, after king to g8, white has the very direct move h5, with the idea of pushing g6 and winning the bishop. It's quite amazing that white can do all this with his whole queen side, or her queen side are not developed at all. But it is in fact playable. This is a very dangerous position. I think black should capture, and then you've got a possible continuation of taking. Takes here, and then queen g4 with a very direct threat of queen e6 check with a mate to come. So black cannot play any sort of move. Let's say it's stupid, yeah, but just to show the mate on the board.
Checkmate.
Very funny mate where black's king is boxed in. It's almost kind of smothered mate. So black needs to attend to this, and most likely you need to play g6 to get some room for the king. And this is also not comfortable at all. h6 is a good move, again intending the mate here, and this might continue along these lines.
Check.
Not even this. I think that's a stronger one. I think this is stronger. I forgot that. Yeah, attacking the queen, and still you've got this checks coming. So white has a huge attack. I think this is almost winning. This is just a sample line to illustrate what might happen if black doesn't take on g5. After g5, taking here. This is what he played. I think this is really better, but it must be super difficult to play such a position. Also, let me mention that this game is not originally here from the server, so the times displayed here are complete bogus. Just ignore them. I don't know how much time they spent, but I can imagine it was quite a lot, and at the end, I guess it was time travel, because you can easily spend hours on this position. So takes, and now black put the knight in the center, just a logical way to proceed. Yeah, and here a move which really shocked me. I'm not sure if I would ever think about this, but it's apparently playable and quite okay. Here white played the amazing move bishop c8. Yeah, really need some time again to let this sink in. So white has only moved her pawns, and then this bishop dropped from f1 to h3 to c8 with the intention of grabbing the queen side. And it's really amazing that this is entirely okay. I really analyzed this a bit with the help also of an engine, and it simply doesn't tell me that this is not playable. So yeah, quite an amazing way to play. So white threatens, need to get rid of the colors. So white threatens to take really here, but also prepares further ideas on the king. So moving the queen out to g4 or h5, and also possibly advancing further on the king side, like f5. Of course, not at the moment. There's this check, but really amazing that bishop c8 is a good move. Yeah, black has got more than one possible answer. He played knight to c6, just letting b7, yeah, open for taking and gaining a tempo on the bishop. A very natural move, I think. There were alternatives. Another move possible would have been to capture on d4, and this might continue along these lines. Now, queen to g4, with the idea of now really pushing. This move was also interesting. At first you think it's not playable at all because of queen b4 check, but it's not that clear, because there's this funny possibility where suddenly black's king is flushed into the open, and this is entirely unclear. Analyzed it a bit, but hard to make sense of this. It's very difficult to understand. A very common result in those lines is a draw by repetition, or by perpetual check, because the kings are so insecure. But okay, on cd4, I think the move that is much more likely to occur is this queen g4, because it's just the more aggressive move with intentions to play on the king side. A possible continuation is g6 here, and f5. It's really a very straightforward play here. f5, and yeah, what could happen now? A possibility is take, and king g7. And now g6. Also with this idea. And this could continue like this. I think now it is check. And yeah, black needs to move up here. Cannot go back because of this funny mate here. So needs to advance with the king, and all this might easily end up in a very unclear endgame. Knight takes f5, and then this might be the continuation, something like this.
Check.
And what this? Black's got 2 pawns for a piece, but white's pieces are just on the back rank, or yeah, somewhat loose. So maybe this is, I don't know, equal. Very difficult. So at the end, you can conclude after bishop to c8. Let's return to the game. Bishop to c8. This capture was a possible alternative, but I think knight c6 is really very natural move, because you want to speed up your development here and attack yourself. And this is also very typical of Sutovsky. He doesn't worry so much about material. He wants his attack going. And here, white just took on b7. It's amazing. Now black played queen e6, which is, I think, good move, intending to win material here with a discovered check. And white now replied knight e2. I think this is probably the most natural move. And an alternative here, because you also need to develop at one point, but there was an interesting alternative. White could have played check. Queen h5 check, but this is the kind of line you can analyze at home here, but to play this over the board is really something else. The main point is black just plays bishop g6 and sacrifices the rook on h8. And this kind of position is really, on over the board. How would you assess that you're not getting mated here? Black's got a huge attack with 2 knights, bishop, queen. Everything's pointing towards your king, and you've got nothing developed. The amazing thing is that here I looked at this with an engine, and white can actually afford to take the rook. So she would have grabbed both rooks on the initial squares, and in this position, black has black can really fire in all kinds of ways on white's king. But it seems the king is it seems able to escape all this. I can show you one line which is really great.
Check.
Knight takes here. If black wants to draw, by the way, you can do so with knight g3. This is a rather straightforward draw. Something like this. And this is also why white certainly rejected this line, because the best you can do is to get a draw, but maybe you're checkmate. It's impossible to judge from the outset, so very understandable that she didn't go for this. But let's look at the line. There's one really great line. Knight takes c2 check. King f1. You need to do this if you play king e2, then this wins for black. You just enter with the queen. This is really too much. Let's say, for instance,
check.
This is quite nice.
Checkmate.
So you need to go to f1, and let me look up what I had prepared here. King f1, queen a6 check, knight e2, and queen d3. And this intends queen here or here with mate to come. So it already looks rather desperate. So what should white do? White can play knight d2, which barely holds, but white can also try this move, this desperado sack, to get the queen out of this dominant position on d3. And this, funny enough, ends with a very neat line.
Check.
Takes. Queen takes. f5 takes, g6 check. So it's a total mess. And in this position, bishop f5 is played because you cannot take on a1 because of this check, and you lose f8, and yeah, I think also very close to getting mated. So it's a total mess. Bishop f5, and black has got 2 exchanges sacrificed, but a huge attack on the king. So it yeah, it could end with any possible result here. But the main point was after this. Let me return a couple of moves. That besides this knight check, oops, this one was also a draw. So this is why white didn't go for this. I think it's just a bad deal. So you know the best you can get is a draw, but you can easily lose. So it's no good. So at the end, white developed a piece, knight e2. And here rook b8 by black, attacking the bishop, which captured on c6. Very, very logical play. Queen takes c6. And here just sorry, I forgot one line which was really neat. In this position where black played rook b8, it was also possible to take on d4. This is quite funny line. I forgot about this. This is quite a funny line. If white would now capture on a8,
check.
This one would follow. Knight f3 check, king f1, and then the great move bishop f5. And yeah, this is now winning for black because of this neat little thing.
Checkmate.
Very nice mate with the knights and the queen mating white's king. So after knight takes d4 here, oops, after knight takes d4, white couldn't take here, so you don't have much choice. I think you need to capture here. Takes, and then possibly queen e2. Yeah, it's really messy position. Black could have played this. I think black is perfectly okay here. It could continue, for example, rook b8, and then white might try this g6 move. It's quite funny if you take with the queen now. If you've got bishop b5, but this is in fact the easiest way to proceed.
Check.
e6 takes on e4.
Check.
An immediate check on b4, and all this at the end, funny enough, you might have guessed it, ends in a draw. But it's quite a funny line. Rook takes here. Rook takes on h8. Takes the check. And at the end, black will get the piece back, and it's a draw with opposite colored bishops. Of course, a very deep line and impossible to calculate. But knight d4 was an alternative. This move here was an alternative. So let's return to the game. In fact, I already suspect that this will be a very long video because there are so many possibilities. Rook b8 takes, and now white continued in the most aggressive fashion. She really threw everything at black here. f5. With the idea of just pushing further, g6, or possibly taking on g6 and then taking on h7 and then g6. So white really attacks with all forces that she's got in play at the moment. Black now answered with g6, very understandable move, stopping stopping the pawn. There actually were alternatives. I want to show one really funny line. Let's say Queen G8, King G8, also possible. And now a very neat line is Bishop F4, attacking the rook. Rook takes B2, and Queen C1, attacking the rook, and still intending this G6 push. Let's say black covers this, and then G6. At first you think this might be winning for white, because yeah, it's now winning material, but in fact black can take here.
Check.
Takes. So okay, black lost the piece, but of course he's got quite some attack going, and the neat thing is, if white now plays knight d2, you've got d3 coming. The point being, if white takes, Queen
Check.
f2 check, King d1, and now at first you think, okay, it's all over. Black doesn't have a queen check anywhere, and the rook is hanging and everything's hanging. But then you might spot
Check.
this absolutely beautiful move, Queen f1 check, only move, and
Check.
it's a check, and the draw by
Check.
perpetual check.
Check.
One of the craziest perpetuals I've ever seen, maybe. Queen f1, knight f2 check. Yeah. Sometimes amazing what you can find. So yeah, just a neat line. It's not forced or something, but really cool. So but black played g6, also understandable. And of course white is far beyond any normal or let's say developing moves. You just need to throw everything at black. So knight f4 with the idea of taking on h7 and grabbing on g6. Yeah, and the next move is really also also quite amazing. He just played bishop g7, and yeah, white doesn't have much choice. She really needs to do this now. Any slow move just leaves black with much the better development and just an attack. Note that white is still playing without the queen side. And okay, she took on h7 as it was intended. Black recaptured.
Check.
Takes on g6. And at first you might think, what the hell is black doing? Because you think, okay, you need to move the king.
Check.
Takes, let's say check again, and then queen h5. And isn't white just a piece up with an attack also to come, knight queen h7 and so on? Yeah, that's all true, but the point is, black can just take with the queen. Quite an amazing idea. If white would take now, black gets this check in and wins back the queen. Yeah, and at the end, at first you might think, okay, yeah, let's look at this. White's a pawn up, but in fact this is close to losing already, because black will get the g5 pawn in any case, and he will also get d4, because at first you might think, okay, maybe you can take on c5, but black has the very forceful move rook takes b2, and this in fact yeah, wins instantly. Black just threatens to move the rook back now, and then the undeveloped queen side really yeah, leads to white's defeat. Yeah, you cannot take the queen really, so it's a queen sacrifice which cannot be accepted. And there's also not much alternatives now, because there's simply this enormous threat. So white needs to play queen f3, you need to cover h1. nothing else. Yeah, and now again you think, okay, what's the what now? If black moves the queen, there's still g6. So what should black play? And he came up with again an amazing move, rook f8. And by now I was really stunned by this game, because the great point is, if white would capture now on g6,
check,
black can simply recapture. And let's say the queen is attacked by the rook. Let's say the queen moves, black just takes on d4, and black is a whole queen down, a queen for a rook down, and the problem is his attack is so strong because of white's undeveloped pieces. It's really like a game from the 19th century. Black has got such a huge attack with rook f2 to come that he's just winning in this position. It's not much what white can do. For example, you can try something like this, knight's developing something, but you always get this move, and white doesn't have anything that she can do. Let's say a queen here
check,
leads to
Checkmate.
immediate mate. So it's just too much. You cannot again grab the queen. Amazing. So in fact, I think there's only one playable move in this position, and this is what she played. Knight d2, attacking the knight, and in a way trying to develop some pieces. Black has sacrificed a piece already, so you need to really catch up and try to not get mated. Black now took on g5. This is again the best move. You can look at all kinds of alternatives, but then this video would be like 3 hours long. White took now, and here black really tried to win. He could have also played queen g1 check. Okay, he also could have played taking on e4, but this would allow queen b3 check, and this is an immediate draw by perpetual check. The king cannot go here because of
checkmate.
This need mate, so it needs to go back, and then
Check,
this will be a perpetual check.
check,
Black cannot escape with his king. This was rather easy, taking on e4, leading to a draw, but black wanted to try harder. He played
Check.
this check. Okay, white doesn't have much choice, and she needs to move the king.
check,
And now he gave this check. This was, I think, the toughest alternative. Knight drop back. The issue is all the way, if you would take, if you would take, then there's always this draw with queen b3.
check,
So this is why this check is almost forced. Knight f2. And king g8 was played now. Here black also could have tried to play king e8, trying to get out of those checks with queen d5. But in fact white has a nice resource here. Maybe king e8 was the way to go if you try to win this game. Here white would have needed to find bishop e3. I think she would have found it, because it's really the first move you think of, because you need to get to black's king to secure a perpetual. So you need to sacrifice the rook here. Queen takes, queen d5, and now black doesn't have a check, a meaningful check, and there's still those check threats, and black cannot escape the perpetual again. You can look at this a bit for yourself. It's no way to escape it. Always checks on the light squares. So maybe this was a bit tougher to let white find bishop e3. But he played king g8, and now white gladly, I think, captured d5. rook f7,
Check.
queen a8, and now black doesn't have any alternative really. It's impossible to escape the perpetual unless you play, what he didn't do. He could have played bishop f8. This was a possibility to escape the immediate perpetual, but this can also easily lead to a loss because it's such a messy position. A possible continuation would be queen f3. Then, for instance, e6, bishop e3, queen takes a1,
check,
queen check here, takes d4, and knight e4 with this idea, and it's a total mess. I looked at it a bit deeper with the computer, and it almost always ended in some sort of perpetual check. So I think this is maybe a similar situation to before. Black saw that after this, of course, rook f8 is a perpetual and it's a draw, and bishop f8 is maybe asking a bit too much from the position. You're still in constant danger of getting into perpetual, and it's well, the risk-reward ratio is just not right. So at the end, he played rook to f8,
check,
queen d5 check, and
check,
after a couple of those checks,
check,
in fact, after this check, a draw was agreed in this absolutely amazing game. My advice is, I really it's now a 40-minute something video, and if you got some time on your hands, just have a look at this game. I'll also post the game score in the description. Have a look at this for yourself. If you want, you can use an engine, a computer, to help you. But if you've got some time on your hands, just trying to analyze a bit the lines, because it's a nice training for tactics. It's such a hugely complicated game, and very, very much fun to analyze. Maybe some alternative to watching the Olympics. If you're being tired of this, my advice is, look at some nice chess games like this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back soon with new videos. Till then, bye.